Welcome to Empower English. I am the founder and the teacher of Empowering English. Okay, this week with another story. Now, this story, I because before I teach you a story, before I tell you a story, I need to think about a plot, kind of a storyline, and also words that go well with the story that fit, right? The story. They're really important because if the story and the words, if they don't fit, the meaning the usage, right? The situation, of course, everything needs to fit. It's really important. If that doesn't fit or if that does not fit, well, the learners they can get confusing meanings and words and the situations they might not be able to use them correctly. So that's why it's really important. Let's get started. There was a guy named Ben. Well, Ben was a banker, so of course he worked in a bank. Where did he work? Well, he worked in a bank. What was his name? Ben. His name was Ben, and Ben was a banker. But he had a button. He had a butt knack. Knack. Well, he had a bad habit. Habits that he had, one of the worst habits that he had was he gambled. Uh, he bet money, he gambled. So what did he do? What was one of the worst habits? One of the worst. So he had several habits, bad habits, but one of them was gambling. So, what was one of the worst habits of him? Well, one of the worst habits of him was gambling. He gambled. By the way, where did he work? Well, he worked in a bank. He worked in a bank. He worked in a bank, and of course, he gambled. He thought that it was the only way to becoming rich. So, what do you think about being rich? What was the way to becoming rich? Well, the only way to becoming rich was gamble. Mm. Did he gamble or did he donate money? Well, he did both. He gambled and he also donated money. Oh no. Because the reason I'm telling you right now that he donated, which means because he always lost. He lost every time he gambled, every time he played. I don't know what he played, but he gambled. Whatever he could gamble, and he did it. And he lost. So did he win most of the times or did he lose most of the times? Well, he lost. Why did he lose? Because he was greedy. He won some, but then he bet more. So he had too much greed. He was greedy. Who was greedy? Well, man was greedy. Every time he almost got, right, like some, he won, of course, but then his greed appeared and he wanted more and more and more. He was a greedy man. That's why he always lost all his money. Why did he lose most of the times? Well, because of having too much greed, because of being greedy. He was greedy. He almost won, but the greed appeared. Wanting more appeared. Being greedy appeared, then he lost. And he bet more. He gambled more. And then this is when he lost. What he lost? Well, what he lost was money. He lost money because of too much greed. Oh, no. But something happened. One day, he bet a lot of money. He gambled that he lost a huge amount of money, a lot of money. Then, right, he had to pay. He now was in debt. He now was in debt. He had loans, right? Borrowing money, of course. He was in debt. DEBTS. He was in debt, or he was in debt. Who was in debt? Well, of course, Ben was in debt. He had a lot of borrowing money. He had loans. Right? He thought that he would be able to win next time. So what did he do? Well, he borrowed money. He got loans from his friends, from the people that he knew, of course. He thought that he might be able to win next time. Why did he get loans? Why did he borrow money? Well, the reason he borrowed money, the reason he got loans was that he thought that he might be able to win next time. So that's why he borrowed money. But what he thought never ever came true. Actually, the opposite happened. He lost again. So, by the way, where did he work? Well, he worked in a bank. So, finally, he decided to do something illegal. What did he decide to do? Well, he decided to do something illegal. He felt so trying about losing all of his money, so he decided to do something illegal. Hmm. So, by the way, let me go back to the beginning of the story. Did he have a just one bad habit or a lot of bad habits? A lot of bad habits. One of the worst necks of him was gambling. Knack. All the, of course, the explanation where you will get them in the. I think I will. Oh, I will explain, of course, maybe in the end of the story. I guess that this week you won't get the vocab explanation lesson, right? Which where you learn how to improve your explanation skill, right? Of course, you might not get this week, of course, but you will get class lesson, right? They're also important, of course. So knack, mean so we can say he had a bad neck, right? He he had a lot of bad necks, but one of the worst necks was gambling. He gambled. He liked to gamble, right? He liked to earn money in a very illegal way, right? The way that is not legal. Maybe maybe he won, of course, but right, the money that he got was not pure. All right. So who had a bad neck? Did Michael have a bad neck? No, no, Michael did not have a bad neck. But who had a bad neck? One of the worst ones. Well, Ben had a bad neck. How did he feel about losing all of his money? Trying, of course. Trying is here. Here is an adjective, second, right? Oh man, like frustrated. Subject, second, right? So he felt so trying about losing all of his money, so he decided to do something. He decided to do something illegal. If someone knew, he would get arrested. That kind of illegal thing he would decide to do, of course. Well, now, of course, he had a lot of loans. He was in debt because he borrowed a lot of money. Why was he in debt? Why was he in debt? Yes. Well, he was in debt because he borrowed money. Why did he borrow money? Why was he in debt? Well, the reason all of those things happened to him was because he gambled. Wow. So he decided to appropriate money. Oh no. So what did he do? Well, he decided to appropriate. Appropriate here is a verb, a sambona, from his bank. Oh no, he decided to do something illegal. The illegal thing that he did was appropriated, right? That he appropriated money from his bank, right? Where he worked. So what did he appropriate? Well, he appropriated money. Did he appropriate money from his mother? No, he did not appropriate money from his mother. He appropriated money from the bank where he worked, right? The bank where he worked, or the bank that he worked. So he appropriated, and he gambled more and more. He bet more and more. But the gambling, betting was not his style, was not his type. So he lost again. For him, it was not the only way to become rich, but maybe to others, yes, but to him, no. He lost. He never, ever got lucky with it. He lost. Did he always win? No. Always, every time he almost got all of the money, of course, he almost won. I mean, a lot of it. But then his greed, loba, G-R-E-D, the noun greedy, the adjective, of course. So his greed appeared, it came out, and it killed him. And he bet more and more and more. Of course, he lost. So finally, of course, the way that a lot of the bad people ended was, right? They always had bad consequences, bad results of doing something illegal. He got arrested. The chairman, of course, he told the police, and they came, and he got arrested. Hmm, no. Oh no. And when he got arrested, so by the way, who got arrested? Well, Ben got arrested. Why did he get arrested? Well, the reason he got arrested was that because he appropriated money from the bank and then he bet again, he gambled. Well, then he got arrested, right? The chairman, right? The babadi of his company, of his bank. So, of course, when he got arrested, right, detectives and of course the cops, right, the police, they asked him questions. They questioned him, but he never uttered. And what he uttered what he uttered was falsehoods. So Falsehoods. Mahomema. Utter, utte, or utter means พูดหา so he all what which means that what he uttered was, right, giving wrong false information, of course, right? Oh no, I didn't do that, right? There was somebody who wanted to put me in jail and prison, and I didn't gamble, right? So he was maybe he never admitted, right, that yes, I appropriated money and because I'm bad, right? No, this is not what he did. What he did was that he never uttered that he appropriated money from the bank. So did he utter falsehoods? Yes, yes, he uttered falsehoods. He never said the truth of him appropriating money from the bank. No. Oh no. What did he utter? Falsehoods. Who uttered falsehoods? Like false information, right? Well, Ben uttered uttered, right? Uttered. He uttered um falsehoods. What did he do? One, the police, the cop, the detectives question him. Well, he said, he gave them wrong information, right? He uttered falsehoods. Oh, no, no, I didn't appropriate, right? Maybe there was somebody wanting to put me in jail, but I never ever appropriated money from the bank, right? So he basically lied and cheated, of course. He uttered falsehoods. So, but he always got like, even though he was in jail or prison, there was always somebody wanting to help him. He also had a good knack that everyone who saw him, they loved talking with him. Well, he also had, right, he had bad knacks and he also had good knacks, right? The good knack, the good knack that he had was that everyone who talked to him loved talking with him. That was his one of the um well good necks, right? So what kind of good necks did he have? Well, whoever talked to him wanted to talk to him. Whoever talked to him is another kind of what clause? Sorry, non-clause actually. Whoever talked to him wanted to talk to him. So he got out of jail. He got out of prison earlier. Oh, so why did he get out of the jail earlier? People love him, right? People who talked to him, they loved the way he talked, and they loved communicating with him, even with the cops, maybe inside of jail. They loved to talk to him. Of course, finally, a few years later, of course, he got out of the jail. And well, when he got out of the jail, of course, he never ever gambled. He never ever bet. He became such a good person. Here, such means like a good person. He became, well, some natives they use it, right? So what kind of person did he become, right? He became such a nice person, a good person. He became like a good person. What did he become? Such a nice person. Did he need to stay or have to stay in prison for a long time? No, he did not. Actually, because of his good luck, he could get out of the jail earlier. That is the end of our story. I hope you like this story and it's really interesting and you will also get the POV lesson of course. So good luck. Bye for now.